Young man? I said, yes, sir. I heard that you've been experimenting with herbs. He said, yes. Well, I'm blind. I'm blind for 10, 11 years. Could you help me? I said, I'll try. If you make me see, I give you $1 million. I gave the man the substance. When am I going to see? I said, by Friday. Now, why did I select Friday until this day? I don't know. But I was so sure of myself. But how could a boy that didn't go to school be so sure of himself? The man went home with the medicine. And the Wednesday, good morning, young man. I raised my right hand. He said, you raise your right hand. I winked my left eye. He said, you wink your left eye. I said, the man is seeing. At that point of my journey, I couldn't explain that. I know it's a bunch of herbs that cleanse the man's body, but they were all alkaline plants.
Modern medicine promises to heal, but what if it's doing the opposite? Think about it. Medications like statins and insulin don't cure. They merely manage symptoms, locking millions into a lifetime of dependency. But why? Could it be that there's more profit in keeping us sick than in truly healing us? Today, we uncover a powerful message from the late Dr. Sebi, a controversial yet revolutionary figure who claimed the pharmaceutical industry's approach to health was all wrong. His methods challenged the status quo, and his warnings are more relevant now than ever. Dr. Sebi believed in natural healing, restoring the body to its natural balance instead of masking problems with pills. Is it possible that we've been looking at health all wrong? Are the answers to our biggest medical issues hiding in plain sight? Stay tuned to learn what the pharmaceutical giants don't want you to know, and what you can do to reclaim your health today. Did you know that drugs like statins and insulin have become everyday heroes in the fight against chronic conditions like heart disease and diabetes? Think of statins as the bodyguards for your heart. These medications lower your bad cholesterol, or LDL, which is like the troublemaker that clogs up your arteries. By blocking an enzyme called HMG-CoA reductase, statins not only clear the mess but also calm down inflammation, making your blood vessels safer. Doctors love them for their double duty, lowering cholesterol and keeping heart attacks or strokes at bay. But statins aren't magic pills. They work best when teamed up with healthy habits like eating right and staying active. However, they can cause some side effects like muscle aches or slight liver issues, so doctors usually keep a close eye on things. They're mostly prescribed to patients who already have heart problems or are at high risk, like people with high blood pressure or obesity. Then there's insulin, which is a lifesaver for diabetics, especially for those with type 1 diabetes, where the body just can't produce it. Even for some people with type 2 diabetes, when diet, exercise, and pills aren't enough, insulin steps in. It's like the key that unlocks your cells so glucose can get in and fuel your body. Today, we have all kinds of insulin, fast-acting, slow-releasing, to mimic how your body should work naturally. But some people worry we're relying too much on these meds and not enough on addressing the root causes, like diet and lifestyle. That's why new approaches are popping up, like tailoring treatments to your genes or exploring alternatives like GLP-1 drugs for diabetes or PCSK9 inhibitors for cholesterol. It's a mix of science and strategy, always evolving. But you know the irony? It's how modern medicine works, like putting a band-aid on a leak instead of fixing the pipe. You go to the doctor, and most of the time, they're focused on making you feel better right now. Got a headache? Here's a pill. Stomach issues? Take this syrup. But how often do they dig deeper to figure out why you're having those problems in the first place? Not as often as you'd hope.
Philosophy has not done anything in ameliorating the condition of health that exists on the planet today. The philosophy of medicine, disease exists because of germs, virus, bacteria. So we have to treat it with a chemical, cyanide, arsenide, mercury, or antimony. That makes a lot of sense. To philosophy. We don't need philosophy. We are not philosophical folks. We are organic folks. The people that live by philosophy, they produce waste. Now we go to the organic family. What is the thought structure? There is none. I'm obedient, and that's all I have to be. The cure has to be organic. Phosphates, carbonates, iodides, and bromides. Equilibrium in the body. They will begin to cleanse and revitalize, and a new direction would be presented to you.
Part of the problem is the way the healthcare system is set up. It's all about quick fixes, because honestly, people want relief fast, and doctors are under pressure to see as many patients as possible. On top of that, the pharmaceutical industry plays a big role. They make huge money selling drugs that you have to take for years, like for high blood pressure or diabetes. If they actually cured these problems, they'd lose a lot of business, so there's not a ton of incentive to find permanent solutions. Another thing is how medical research is done. They often focus on one tiny piece of the puzzle, like one gene or one symptom, and miss how everything is connected. It's like trying to fix a car by only looking at the tires without checking the engine. And doctors are also trained that way. Medical school is all about learning how to diagnose and manage diseases, not necessarily how to prevent them. So, when you show up with an issue, they're more likely to treat the symptoms you have now rather than explore what might have caused them in the first place. It's kind of a cycle. You take one pill, and then another to manage the side effects of the first. Meanwhile, the real problem goes ignored. It's like treating the smoke, but not putting out the fire. For example, statins are these super popular meds that doctors prescribe to lower cholesterol, especially the bad kind, LDL. They keep your heart safe from nasty stuff like heart attacks and strokes. But some people taking statins might end up with a higher chance of getting type 2 diabetes. Why? Let me explain. Statins can mess with how your body handles insulin, the hormone that keeps your blood sugar in check. Some types of statins might make your muscles less efficient at absorbing glucose, or even slow down how your pancreas releases insulin. Basically, your blood sugar starts creeping up, leading to diabetes. Not everyone is at the same risk though. If you're already on the edge, like if you're overweight or have a family history of diabetes, statins could tip you over. Studies, like the big Jupiter trial, found that statin users had about a 10% higher chance of developing diabetes. High doses? Even riskier. And not all statins are created equal. Atorvastatin and rosuvastatin seem more likely to mess with blood sugar than, say, pravastatin or pitavastatin, which are more chill in this department. But for most people, the heart-protecting perks of statins far outweigh this diabetes risk. It's all about balance. Doctors might modify the dose, keep an eye on your blood sugar, or go with a statin that's easier on glucose control if you're in the risk zone. The key takeaway? Statins are lifesavers, but like all medicines, they've got their quirks. You just have to use them wisely. Quite similarly, insulin therapy is a big part of managing diabetes, especially for people with type 1 diabetes and advanced type 2. It basically helps your body control blood sugar levels, kind of like how your body would naturally do it if everything was working properly. When insulin is injected or infused, it helps sugar, glucose, get into your cells to be used as energy, which lowers the sugar levels in your blood. But here's the thing, while insulin helps control blood sugar in the short term, it doesn't tackle the bigger issues behind type 2 diabetes, like insulin resistance. In simple terms, with type 2, your body's cells get less responsive to insulin. This happens because of things like chronic inflammation, poor diet, obesity, and lack of exercise. Even if insulin is doing its job to lower blood sugar, this resistance can keep getting worse. Plus, using too much insulin can be risky. If you end up with too much insulin in your system, it can cause hypoglycemia, super low blood sugar, weight gain, and heart problems. Over time, it might even mess with your pancreas, making it harder for it to produce insulin on its own. Another problem is that insulin doesn't address the whole picture. High levels of insulin might keep blood sugar in check, but they can also promote fat storage and mess with your hormones, which could lead to more weight gain and raise the risk for heart disease. So, insulin definitely has its place. But if you don't address lifestyle factors, it's more of a quick fix than a long-term solution. And that's what modern treatment won't tell you. Because, the healthcare system seems to make more money from treating chronic diseases than from actually preventing them. Take chronic conditions like diabetes or heart disease, for example. These are the kinds of issues that need constant care and management, which means a steady flow of appointments, medications, and treatments. One big reason behind this is the way doctors get paid. In many places, they work under a fee-for-service model, which basically means they earn more money the more treatments and procedures they provide. So instead of focusing on keeping people healthy and preventing diseases in the first place, they end up giving more attention to patients who are already sick. It's like a treadmill that just keeps spinning. The pharmaceutical companies also make a ton of cash from people who need long-term medications for their chronic conditions. When someone is diagnosed with a chronic disease, they often end up on medication that they'll need to take for years, if not for life. This creates a situation where it's more profitable for these companies to keep people on meds than to help them find ways to avoid needing those meds in the first place. That's how our healthcare infrastructure is set up. Hospitals and clinics are built to treat illnesses and manage diseases, not necessarily to promote wellness or healthy living. This means that when it comes to funding, there's often not enough money put into preventive programs or community health initiatives that could help people live healthier lives. It's a cycle that's hard to break. And Dr. Sebi also shared the same perspective. It was all about using nature to heal the body, and he really believed that plants had the power to cure almost anything. His whole philosophy was built around the idea that most diseases are caused by mucus buildup in the body, which messes with your health. To fix this, he swore by an alkaline diet, basically a plant-based clean way of eating that would help your body get rid of all the bad stuff. He didn't just talk about food, he was huge on herbal remedies too. Dr. Sebi had this incredible knowledge of wild herbs, many of which he said help detox the body, clean your blood, and give your organs a little TLC. For him, herbs like burdock root, dandelion, and elderberry were essential in the healing process.
Sees is what you're gonna see. I had a lady from Mexico, and that lady would say, "No, don't let them pick me. No." And there was nobody there. I made an extract from the Cascara Sagrada. She said that when she went to the bathroom upon taking the Cascara Sagrada extract, she looked in the commode and she saw some berries that she ate 12 years prior. They were lost and they became molded and sent off that negative message. Again, the mucous membrane in the intestine were compromised. She no longer crazy.
He thought if you combined these with a strict diet, no processed foods, no meat, no dairy, you'd restore balance to your body, get rid of that excess mucus, and really let your body heal itself. He prescribed fasting and drinking herbal teas to cleanse your system. And let's not forget about water. He recommended drinking alkaline water, full of natural minerals, to keep things balanced. But the healing wasn't just about what you put into your body. Dr. Sebi believed the mind and spirit were just as important. He encouraged people to stay positive, practice meditation, and keep a strong connection to nature. His idea was that when your mind, body, and spirit were all in sync, that's when real healing could happen. Basically, Dr. Sebi had this idea that most health problems start because the body gets too acidic, which creates the perfect environment for things like inflammation and disease to take root.
To heal that, every disease begins right here. I mean right here. I don't care if you're blind or if you're insane. It's right here. That acid state influences the brain and the central nervous system. It changes the image in your eyes. You do not see with your eyes. Your eyes is only the lens that the brain looks through. What the brain sees is what you're gonna see.
His whole thing was about getting the body back to balance so it could heal itself naturally. Instead of popping a pill for whatever ails you, Dr. Sebi swore by herbal remedies and a plant-based diet to really tackle health problems from the inside out.
His wife Ma'a gave him the name Sebi, and locals began calling him doctor after they saw him heal fatal illnesses.
There was a little boy that was dying. It was his spleen, but nobody knew it was his spleen, and he laid there, and he was like 5 years old. This is Dominica again. And so he was laying there, and he could hardly walk, and the doctors had said he was going to die. And so we gave him the herbs, and he was up and around. When people are healed, everybody is Dr. Sebi, Dr. Sebi.
He believed that by clearing out toxins and getting rid of excess acidity, your body would have a chance to reset and repair itself. Take herbs like burdock root or dandelion, for example. These are known for being great at detoxing the body, helping to flush out the bad stuff that can pile up over time. Then there's sea moss, which Dr. Sebi was a big fan of. It's packed with minerals that nourish the body, boost immunity, and help everything run smoothly. These herbs, along with other natural remedies, are meant to work together to help your body rebuild and restore itself to a healthier state. And people worldwide loved his ideas, especially those who were fed up with traditional medicine and looking for a different way to get healthy. But not everyone was on board with Dr. Sebi. A lot of doctors and scientists pointed out that there was no real scientific evidence to back up his claims. No peer-reviewed studies, no clinical trials, just testimonials from people who swore they felt better after following his advice.
But today, a Brooklyn man who masqueraded as a doctor has been arrested by the state attorney general.
Can you cure it? I have cured it many times, sir, and I can cure it again and again.
This made the medical community raise eyebrows, and many labeled his methods as pseudoscience. For example, the idea that an alkaline diet could cure diseases like cancer has been challenged by experts. While maintaining a healthy body pH is important, your body actually does a pretty good job of balancing it out on its own, so trying to mess with it through diet doesn't have the magical healing power that Dr. Sebi promised.
So I understood that the state were unprepared to defend itself. They were unprepared because in the past there was 2,781 cases that came before the Supreme Court and lost.
Yeah.
I won.
Yeah.
Not only did I prove scientifically, but I had the diagnostic sheets, and I do have them today.
Uh-huh.
And those diagnostic sheets didn't come from me. They came from their school, their American medical accredited schools.
Did I read it correctly where there was some requirement for you to actually bring patients, a patient into court from each of those maladies, and that you brought multiple patients in court who, one, testified themselves, and that you had medical records, one showing that they were victims of the disease, and then showing that it had been cured by one doctor, and then a second doctor verifying what the first doctor had said?
Yes. We have to remember this, that whenever you make a statement that goes against the grain, you better be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
You better be prepared. The judge said that I had to bring one of every patient that I had cured, and there was one that said others. The others was a man that came from Italy. He was paralyzed. But I was supposed to take 9. I took 77.
You took 77 patients in court with you?
That's correct.
Then there's the issue with some of the herbal remedies he recommended. Many of the herbs he touted for treating serious illnesses haven't been proven to work scientifically. So, while Dr. Sebi's approach was appealing to some, it didn't really hold up in the eyes of medical professionals. Still, a lot of people swear by Dr. Sebi's methods. They say that after switching to his diet and using his herbal remedies, they felt better, healthier, and even saw major improvements in their health. To them, it doesn't matter that there's no scientific proof. They trust their own experiences, and for them, it's a much more natural, holistic approach to health than what they found in a doctor's office. Now imagine a world where your doctor doesn't just hand you a prescription for every ailment, but instead looks at the whole you, body, mind, and lifestyle. That's what an integrative approach to healthcare is all about. It's like taking the best of both worlds, the advanced treatments of modern medicine and the natural remedies that have been around for centuries. And when combined, they can really make a difference. Exactly that's why Dr. Sebi's way of life works even when modern medicine fails. Think about it. Modern medicine is awesome for things like diagnosing big health issues, treating emergencies, and using technology to spot problems you can't see or feel. But sometimes, it misses out on the little things that really matter, like how your diet, stress levels, or emotions affect your health. Let's say you're feeling off but can't quite pinpoint why. Holistic health looks at the whole you. It's not just about treating a symptom here and there. It's about figuring out what's causing things to feel out of balance in the first place. For example, instead of just taking medication for stress, you could try yoga, meditation, or even just changing your diet to something more balanced. These little things can have a big impact on your overall well-being, sometimes even making the medicine work better when you need it. There's also this idea that natural remedies or alternative therapies, like acupuncture or herbal medicine, can work alongside traditional treatments. It's like building a health routine that works for you, not just following what's always been done. Imagine combining good food, exercise, and a positive mindset with whatever your doctor recommends. It can make a huge difference in how you feel and how fast you heal.
Because when I begin to remove you from that meat and that stuff, that grease, you begin to say in 1 week, how the pain that you had for years begin to disappear.
But of course, it's not one size fits all. Some things are going to work for you and others won't. The point is, by learning about all your options, you can take charge of your health in a way that fits you best. It's all about staying open, educating yourself, and finding what feels right for you to live your healthiest, happiest life. Are we ready to rethink our approach to health and embrace true healing? Share your thoughts on modern medicine versus natural remedies in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more eye-opening insights. See you soon!